And we are back with another episode. And this is a long time coming, but we are finally giving you our top five movies of 2022 since the Academy Awards just happened about a week or so ago, depending on when this airs. But yeah, a lot of great movies. Not necessarily going to be following the trend of what was nominated for me anyway, but probably you as well. We don't always agree with the Academy, right?
Well, I don't agree always with who won the Academy Award. I
Yeah.
don't necessarily not agree on some of the films that were in.
Yeah. Yeah, well, this should be interesting because I think on my list I only have like one movie that was nominated for at least for Best Picture anyway. But you want to start off with your number five?
Okay. Uh, my number five was not on the Academy Awards.
Yeah.
The Gray Man.
Ah, okay. I have not seen that.
Yeah, Ryan Gosling was in it. He was the main star,
Mhm.
and Billy Bob Thornton was in it.
Okay.
And it starts out that Gosling's in prison for murder,
Hmm.
and Bobby Thornton comes in and he interviews him,
Yeah.
and he told him he can get him out of prison, but he has to join this organization where it's like a James Bond thing. They go by numbers,
Interesting.
and
Okay.
his number was six.
Uh-huh.
So it's a spy movie. Yeah,
Okay.
lots of action,
Yep.
lots of insane action. I don't even know how they pulled off half the stuff that they did in the movie.
Yeah, I remember seeing some clips when it came out, but I totally
Yeah,
went off my radar. I forgot about it.
but yeah, it was I liked it a lot.
Okay, cool. I'll add it to my watch list then.
Yeah,
Very nice. All right. Well, my number five is also not nominated, and it's a documentary. I had to get one in there. Well, actually, I don't even know if you would call it a documentary, really.
is
It's
it a
a
music documentary?
no, no. It's a therapy movie, directed and starring Jonah Hill, who's known mostly for comedies, and there's plenty of comedy in here, but it's about a movie he made about the relationship between him and his therapist in real life. uh Stutz is his last name, and the movie is called Stutz. It's on Netflix, so you can check it out. But yeah, it was much more captivating than I thought. It was one of those things where we're like, this looks like it might be interesting. Let's check it out. But yeah, this guy Stutz, he actually has like a lot of really good practical things that he shares in the movie. It's something that that Katya and I plan to rewatch because he has a lot of really cool ideas of like just getting through life with these um kind of things that he usually draws out. And Jonah Hill, obviously it's helped him through some real life traumas and things like that. But it was cool too, like to see their relationship and how they've kind of helped each other in some ways. So pretty cool documentary. I recommend it.
Okay.
So what's your number four?
My number four, and actually my top four, any one of these could be my number one,
Okay.
depending on how I feel that day.
I see. Okay.
This movie was on the Academy Awards.
All right.
All Quiet on the Western Front.
Another one I haven't seen yet.
This is a remake,
Yep.
actually, of All Quiet on the Western Front in 1930.
Oh wow, I didn't realize it was that old. Yeah.
And that one won the Academy Award.
Right. Yeah, this one won several awards this year. Not the big one, but for a lot of technical stuff.
Yeah, well, like all war movies lately, they show a lot of gore and a
Hmm.
lot of, yeah, this is the way it really looked in World War One.
Right.
And this is seen from the German side.
Hmm. Right.
And yeah, I mean, they're out there jumping from, the trenches, trying to get that 100 yards, 50 yards, you
Yeah.
know, and get into the other guy's foxhole. But they're constantly getting mowed down and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And it was kind of sad at the end the way that it ended
Yeah.
because I don't want to give too much of the ending, but the war already ended and they were told to go out over the thing
Mm.
because they wanted their leaders,
Mhm.
officer leaders, wanted to end the war on the German victory.
Ah, I see. Okay.
But yeah, it was like really good.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, you could get into the characters.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I mean, it's one that I plan to see eventually. I wasn't in a rush. I usually war movies don't do it for me, depending on what it's about, but it looked really well done. So,
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't uh, put it equal to Spielberg's movie.
right. Yeah.
Yeah, but it may
It's-
be a notch or two down.
All right. Cool. Very nice. Good pick. Can't argue that. So, yeah. So my number four, again, not nominated for anything, is Hustle, another Netflix movie. And this is,
Actually, that is my sixth movie.
okay. So you saw it.
Yeah,
Nice.
yeah, I like that movie a lot.
Yeah. Another Adam Sandler movie that is, more dramatic than it is comedic,
Yeah,
although it
he's
has,
becoming a dramatic actor lately.
yeah, yeah. He's got this movie, it kind of feels like Rocky in some ways, where he's obviously the coach role in this, and
Yeah, it's
the
like one of these uplifting movies.
right, yeah, and the basketball player, I can't pronounce his name in real life, but he acted really well in the movie. A real NBA star who, he plays this Spanish guy in the movie that gets scouted by Adam Sandler, and yeah, the relationship that they have and the way that he, um,
Pancho Hernan Gomez.
yeah, something like that. But yeah, he that they almost get like a paternal relationship going through the movie, and then there's also, he's got some family stuff going on. Sandler's going through, occupational problems, but it's really a heartwarming story with a lot of some cool basketball action too, so I was
Yeah,
surprised.
I mean, yeah, he's kind of Achilles' heel in that he gets very angry.
Right. Yes.
Not
Indeed.
Chandler, the basketball player.
Right. Yeah.
And he's got this kid that knows it, that's also vying for a job. And he just keeps needling him, needling him, needling him.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. All right. Well, cool. I'm glad it almost made your list. But
It was my honorable mention.
yeah. Okay. Very good. So what's your number three?
Elvis,
Ah,
also
okay.
on the Academy Award.
Didn't make my list. I still haven't seen that yet either.
Yeah, I mean,
So yeah.
uh, Tom Hanks
Hmm.
plays Colonel Parker, and he's the one that's telling the story
Right.
because he was always like, uh, the bad guy when
Hmm.
Elvis died. So it's his fault with the drugs and all that stuff. So it's like starts from the beginning, like when you found them and raised them to be a star and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But, it also shows uh, how Elvis got, you know, how his music came together, like learning uh, music from the black people
Hmm.
down
Yeah.
there, you know, like
Right.
B.B. King and, all those guys down there.
That's
And
cool.
he was like imitating them.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. Some would say that he stole their music from them or, appropriated it or whatever you want to call it.
Well, in some
But yeah.
things he did
Hmm.
steal the songs.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
And,
but I
but
heard the actor was like amazing. Like,
he had Presley's movement
yeah.
in the
Yeah.
movie. And
Yeah.
just for that, I think he should have gotten Best Actor.
Yeah. I mean, a few people were saying, I mean, if Brendan Fraser didn't win it, he would have been a close second because, yeah, Austin Butler. I mean, still in interviews, even he kind of still has that tone of voice. I think he's
Yeah.
taken
Yeah.
Elvis with
I
him.
mean, he looked exactly like Elvis. I remember when I used to see him in the movies and stuff.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, had a total life when he was in the movie theater. I mean, in the army when he was in the making movies.
Right. Very cool.
It was a great like biography movie.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Well, yeah, one I will also check out at some point. So my number three, I don't know if this will make your list or not, but it's The Batman.
Yes, that's my higher up.
All right. We got one in common. Sweet. Yeah, I was
We're
very
probably
impressed.
we're probably going to switch our number one and two. I
Okay.
would,
Yeah, probably. I think we'll have one more in common. But yeah, the Matt Reeves this is actually, believe it or not, my favorite of the like original starting a Batman series. I put this above Batman Begins and the 1989 Batman, which is saying something because both those movies are pretty great. But this, I feel like, really got a good bit of like the dark, gritty violence that is sometimes in the Christopher Nolan movies, but even more so. And it really captures the darker side of not just Batman's character, but his own persona as well when he's just by himself. And of course, the soundtrack adds to that. And then I don't know, there's just it feels more realistic in a way. I guess it's because it's at its heart, it's more of like a murder mystery movie than like it really goes into the detective aspect of Batman in this. And of course, the Riddler played really well by Paul Dano.
yeah,
Very creepy in this movie. So I'm excited to see too where it's going to go from here, because obviously, they're going to do a sequel.
yeah, and Colin Farrell played Oz.
Yeah, the Penguin, he's great,
Yeah, it
unrecognizable.
was good.
Yeah.
John uh, Turturro.
Oh yeah, Turturro was great too,
Yeah,
man, as
yeah,
the crime
yeah,
boss. Yeah.
yeah, because he played Carmine Falcone.
Yep.
Yeah, so you get to know more of how the underground worked.
Yeah.
That you didn't really get from the other Batman movies.
Right. And Zoe Kravitz was great as Catwoman as well.
Yeah,
So
even
yeah.
though they didn't say she was Catwoman, but
Right.
I mean, you could, yeah, and there was like a little relationship going between them too.
Yeah, yeah. And the way it ends off too, you can see that they're gonna have that continue on in some way. Um, and there's even a short glimpse at the Joker in one part, that may carry over into the sequel. That's going to be interesting. But yeah, I was very impressed, and it didn't feel, even though the runtime was pretty long on this, it didn't feel long to me.
Yeah, it didn't feel long at all.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, I mean, I thought this movie was fantastic.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
higher
I
up.
mean,
Yeah.
it had action in it, but it wasn't like this showy action.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
with a lot of special effects and stuff like that.
Yeah. And some of the the dramatic elements that are, not necessarily action packed, but they really have you like on the edge of your seat, like the scene where he's got the bomb on him and he's got to figure out the riddle, and when they're inside the church and all that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and he was good at figuring out riddles and stuff. Like
Yeah.
he would say it, and then he would just say right away what the answer was.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Fantastic. Well, yeah, great pick. So man, so now I guess we're to number two.
Number two is Top Gun Maverick.
Ah, okay. So Batman is your number one.
Yeah,
Nice. That's a good one and two, I have to say.
yeah, it is. Well, to me, it was a good one, two, three, four.
Indeed, yeah. Well, Top Gun is my number one. So
That's what I said. Our number one and number two are going to be reversed.
yeah.
Do
And
that
I
a lot.
and I just rewatched this again last weekend when it for the Academy Awards. It was back in theaters. So yeah, even better the second time. Like the special effects in the movie are incredible.
Yeah, uh, like they were in the first one, but I
Yeah.
think these were a little bit more spectacular.
Oh yeah, and the fact that I mean they're really flying, you can tell, and
Yeah,
and
and
all,
this time
yeah,
it wasn't really a flight school. It was that he was training them to determine which one or which two were going to go on this almost impossible mission, and you're out again.
damn, man. Oh,
There-
okay, impossible mission. I'll edit it. I hopefully.
Yeah, this impossible mission.
Mhm.
But this time, the first time, Cruz was all cocky and
Right.
stuff. This time, he was more humanistic.
Yeah.
And then it was complicated by Goose's son,
Rooster. Yeah.
yeah, being in Top Gun as a pilot,
Right. Yeah, and that Miles Teller did a great job with
right?
that.
So
And
it brought back a lot of his grief and stuff.
yeah, I would say, I mean, in a dramatic sense and action sense, this is better than the original. Even though, I
Yeah,
mean, the original was great. I mean, and I still, if it's on, I watch it. But this took, I think, the whole thing to another level. And I think a lot of other movies that are trying to do sequels should take notes from this because, yeah,
although
especially,
you have to wait like 20 years.
yeah, right. Yeah, the stakes are so high at the end in every way. Like when
See,
they're,
Cameron didn't wait long enough when he released the sequel.
yeah, exactly, right. But yeah, when they're crashed landed the two of them in enemy territory, and then they have to use the old F, was it the 16, or I can't remember,
I
but
don't remember it.
but yeah, it was so cool to see them get in that old plane. And yeah, Tom Cruise, man, just incredible, using his, as you mentioned, Mission Impossible skills as well as the Top Gun skills. It's like a combination of the two movies, really, when you think about it that way.
Yeah,
Because yeah, they, as they call it, the two miracles that they have to do. But yeah, so good, man. Yeah, I love it. And yeah, so that'll be probably our, I guess, our combined number one, since Batman was my three. But we didn't talk about my number two, which is The Greatest Beer Run Ever. Did you get to watch that?
no.
Man, I think you would really like it because
Well, probably definitely gonna watch it,
Okay.
but I figured I didn't really have to right now because I figured you were gonna have it in your top five.
Yes, yeah. And surprisingly, it made it higher than I thought it would. But this is another movie that just totally caught me out of left field how good it was. I mean, I knew that Peter Farrelly, obviously, he's known for Dumb and Dumber, but he also directed Green Book, which won the Academy Award. So he's done some serious stuff as well. And this kind of it's another one of these like heartwarming movies, uh, but it's got a very good sense of drama as well as comedy because the premise is kind of like so silly, but it's a true story that this guy really who wasn't doing much with his life decides to bring beers to all his friends that are fighting in Vietnam. And he had been in the military as well, so he kind of knew the ins and outs of it a little bit, like at least how to get there. But the adventure from there is so crazy because like the people think that he's in special ops or something. He pretends to be this guy that's like possibly CIA. But yeah, it's just like he learns a lot of things throughout the movie. And it's got some really great other actors. Russell Crowe plays a journalist that he kind of teams up with at one point. Bill Murray plays the bartender back home that kind of gives him the idea for doing this. And yeah, I was impressed with the acting skills of Zac Efron as well. I wasn't expecting much from him, but it has a really good story arc, and it's a great Vietnam movie. Just another one of the ones that I would add to the greats, like Good Morning Vietnam. Kind of it reminded me of that in some ways because of the comedic
Another
elements.
movie that the Academy Awards missed.
Yeah, indeed. So yeah, great list. So
Instead of a piece of crap that won the Academy Award.
I've yet to see that. So but I've heard very conflicting things on it. So yeah, I think our list is better than the Academy, I would say,
I
as
would
usual.
say too, even though some of those movies were in, but they didn't get picked.
Right, exactly. So yeah, putting this together, Top Gun, I guess, will be our one, and Batman our number two. So from there, the next one down is The Greatest Beer Run Ever, since it's my number two. And then the next one down would be Elvis, as it's your three. And then it's between Hustle and All Quiet on the Western Front. I'm thinking it's got to be Hustle since you had it as your honorable mention.
I know. What was your honorable mention?
I don't have one. I didn't see that many movies, man. I guess if I had to figure out an honorable mention, I don't know. Let me see. Let me try and figure it out real quick.
I've got like 5 more honorable mentions.
Yeah. Do you really? Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, my honorable mention would be another documentary. The George Carlin documentary, George Carlin's American
Oh, yeah.
Dream.
Okay.
That was good. Oh, also The Fabelmans, I thought was really good.
Yeah, The Fable was okay. To me, it was uh, Spielberg's life story.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
What were your other honorable mentions?
The Menu,
Okay. Yeah. I've heard good things about that.
The Outfit.
Okay.
It's the guy's a tailor, and he work. Gangsters come in,
Mm-hmm.
and how he makes their clothes and stuff like that. But he also allowed them to put a Dropbox in it.
Okay.
So it has a very, very surprise ending.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Uh, Glass Onion,
Okay.
sequel.
Heard
It
good
was
things.
really good too, yeah.
Okay.
Uh, Downton Abbey.
Okay.
Uh, Doctor Strange, I like that movie.
Oh, okay. All right. That's a sequel too, right?
Yeah, and Avatar,
Ah, yes.
Feel
Oh,
the
cool.
Water. To me,
Yeah.
the only reason why I didn't like it that much was, again, it was basically a war movie.
Yeah.
And they fluff it with, seeing these exotic sea animals and how uh, other uh, people that lived on the planet, how they lived, and you know, were connected to the sea life
hmm
in the island that they were on. In the
Right.
first movie, it was a war movie, and uh, he was learning the ways of the jungle people.
Yeah, right. Cool. All right. Well, very
But,
good honorable mentions.
but but it was beautiful, the movie, the scenes,
Yeah.
the non-war stuff. It
Yeah.
was like it was really beautiful.
Oh, speaking of beautiful, I did have one more honorable mention too. It's more like a traditional rom-com kind of movie, but Ticket to Paradise, which has George Clooney and Julia Roberts. It's another Netflix movie, but it was filmed in Bali.
Okay.
Uh,
Yeah,
and yeah,
I haven't seen the movie, but I know of it. And it's one of the movies that I still wanted to see.
yeah, the scenery looks amazing. It makes you want to travel there. So, which
Yeah.
is not far from someone we know. So yeah, very
Well,
good.
actually, it is.
Yeah,
It's just
technically,
that, if you're looking at the map of the Earth, you know,
right.
Thailand doesn't look that far.
hmm
But yeah, there's a lot of space to get there.
Yeah, by boat, especially. Yeah.
Yeah.
But all right, well, very cool. So now our official list of the top 5 movies of 2022. At number 5, Hustle. At number 4, Elvis. At number 3, The Greatest Beer Run Ever. At number 2, The Batman. And at number 1, Top Gun Maverick. Yeah,
Yeah.
great list. All right. So we're caught up through current times and coming soon. I'm not sure exactly when our next episode will be, but we'll be having a very special episode. We got to figure out what it's going to be because it's going to be our 100th episode on the channel. So stay tuned for that and we'll see you then. All right. Love you.
Love you too.
All right. Bye.
Bye.